Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Eileen at Little Grace Nursery, and if you're new here, welcome. Hit like and subscribe and come back for all the fun and all the babies and all the giveaways and the painting tips. And this is part 3 of Reborning Leilani yawning. And part 1 I did preparing the vinyl. Part 2 was doing the veining. I don't know if you can see the veining. It's really hard sometimes with this on videos. Let me turn this off and see if you can see it. I don't know. I can't from my end, but I think it does look a little better with this light on it also. So yeah, we'll do that. So in this part, I'm going to be doing the skin tone. So my last video, I said, oh, I forgot to do the blue wash, which I did not forget to do. I'm not going to do it. And the reason I'm not going to do it is this is a dark skin baby, and Bountiful Babies kits are pretty neutral colors. So typically if the vinyl is orangey or yellowish or whatever, you want to do a neutralizing of that color, and which is usually the blue wash. But this kit does not need this right now. So I am going to start with the skin tone. So I will be using Flesh 3, Flesh 2, and Flesh 3 is a lighter color than 2. As it goes down in numbers, the color is darker. I will also later be using some burnt umber, but I'm going to start with Flesh 3, the lighter color. And I'm going to take, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, whoops, did not mean to do that. So I'm going to take some color on the tip of my brush, and let me move these brushes out of the way so my brush rests nicely here. And I'm going to take my Mona Lisa paint thinner. Now you have to be careful when you're painting a dark-skinned baby, because the color, if it's not mixed completely, it will look uneven, it will look a little grainy. So you want to make sure that you're thinning it enough and mixing it enough. And also you want it thin enough so that you're not getting paint built up in the little wrinkles and crevices. So there we go with our, so I'm going to go ahead and mix this. And I basically start out with the lighter color just to make sure that I'm not getting any buildup in the creases, and I want to make sure that it's even. And as I paint, I will use the darker colors. Also, what I like to use is my linseed oil. You can use the thinning oil, but I'm going to use the linseed oil. Different artists like different things. I do like the thinning oil by Exodus, but I honestly, I like the linseed oil the best. So I'm just going to use a couple drops, and what that does is it helps to mix the paint much more evenly, and it goes on smoothly. Let me get my glasses here. And you want to just make sure it's mixed very well. And I'll be honest, I'm just going to show you, well, I may show you the arms too, I don't know, is you want to take and see that little piece there. It looks like it wasn't dissolved. I am going to go over with just this first paint, was this faux, I can't talk. And I can't blame it on work because it's the weekend. I guess I just don't know how to talk. So we are going to paint the entire surface of this little head. And you want to make sure that you are getting down around the base here real good. When I first started painting, I thought I was getting down at the bases, but then it just never seemed like, it seemed like the paint would wear off as it got to the base, where the vinyl will be meeting the cloth body. So you want to make sure that the paint is even throughout. And then I take my sponge, and actually I've been using this sponge for a while, so I'm going to get a new one. And I just started using this one for my lighter skin babies, so I'm gonna just go ahead and use this one, so that way I don't have to stop the video and look for another sponge because I came a little bit unprepared. So I'm just going to bounce off the excess paint. And then once you're bouncing off too much paint, your sponge starts to get a little too wet, just go ahead and bounce it off on the paper towel. And I'm just getting a little piece of, I don't know what that was. And I go in the little wrinkles and crevices just to make sure that it is not settling in there. And then I will take this brush here and I will just go in all the little cracks and wrinkles just to make sure that we don't have any paint settling in the cracks and wrinkles. And I want you to notice how nice and clean my paper towels are. Well, actually, they're actually a little dirtier than when I first started. But go back to part 1 and see how clean they are. Because as I go on painting, they do tend to get a little dirty. So, yeah. And now my husband's calling me, so I have to stop the video because he can't read the sign saying that I'm taping. I'll be right back. I'm sorry, my dear. I didn't really get upset. He just wanted me to know that my new oven has arrived, so now I can start using 2 ovens. He bought me another oven. I know, then it makes me feel bad that I said what I said. Oh my gosh. All right. So, there we go. And then I'm going to put her on the rack to dry. I'm just going to go give her one more look over to make sure that there's no paint buildup in the cracks and all right. And then we're going to put her on the rack to dry. And also, I'm not going to show you the arms and feet because for this paint first coat, I'm covering everything, even bottoms of the feet. As I go along and I get darker with the paint and I add more layers, I won't be painting the color on the bottoms of the feet, or the hands. So that will conclude this first part of skin tone. And yeah, I'm tapping off. I'm looking at the head again. So I'm tapping off some of the top of the head. Which he will have hair, so it's not imperative that it be perfectly even. But I still like it to be as even as possible. So we'll see you later. Are preparing to bake her or bake your doll rather. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. I just look over the doll one more time and make sure that I have all the little fuzz balls and maybe brush bristles and dust or any little debris that may have gotten onto the kit. I go ahead and I dust it off. And then I bake it. So, now, this concludes part, what am I on? 3, skin tone. I will be putting another base coat just like this. I'll be adding some more of the Flesh 3 and some more of the thinner and some more of the linseed oil, and I will be putting another coat on. And this is the patience you must have when you're reborning, because the color doesn't come out all at once. It's all about building layer after layer after layer. And I'm starting with the lighter color because I want a nice even skin tone. And if you start out with the darker color, you might get it all uneven. This just ensures me that I'm going to have an even skin tone. So before I come back with part 4, I will be baking both of these twins, and I will be putting another coat of the same thing that I did now, another coat of the Flesh 03 with the paint thinner and the linseed oil. So yeah, that is part 3, skin tone. So I'll see you on part 4, which will be mottling. I always say that wrong. Mottling. All right, everybody. I love you all. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and come back for all the fun. Love you. Bye.